This is 5-Minute Power Platform where I'm doing short experiments in Dynamics, Flow, PowerApps, Azure, and more. In this video, we're going to take the Flow Approvals application and integrate it with SharePoint, tracking approvals and approver feedback and putting that back into SharePoint. So we'll start by creating a new document library that we'll use for tracking the approvals on. So go in here, create a new document library, call it Approval Documents, and create it. Now we're going to add a couple columns on that we're going to use to track the approvals. One is the comments from the approver, and the other one is the actual approval value. So we'll create that one as a choice. That's the current status of the approval, and we'll give it some values. So new record, pending review by the approval, already approved or disapproved. Let's save these. Let's edit that view so those two columns we added are a little more prevalent, so they're a little easier to watch while we're working. And we'll make one other change too. We'll set a default value on that choice column. Set the default value to new, and that way things will automatically go into the new status. We won't have to set that with any sort of code. Now let's test out that new value. We'll just drop a document in here. We'll see there, get set new, but no approvals are happening yet. So now on to the approvals. So we'll create a new flow. And we should see a pre-built one here. Let's go see more templates. Start approval when a new item is created. That's perfect for what we need. So our connections are all there. And so let's take our SharePoint site and we'll add it in here. And from there, it should find our document library, but if not, we can always add in the document library name as well. It's approval documents. And then we'll set where the approval should go. For now, we're just going to use the name of the person that created the record in the document library. So they're created by email. Now it's nice to kind of tweak the email a little bit. And we're going to put the name of the document in there because we're going to be differentiating these by file name. So we'll make that title include the file name. And then at the bottom of the flow, it created the steps that we need for if it's approved or if it's not approved. But the first thing we need to do is we had that approval status column that we added. So let's make sure we add an action at the top to update that. So we're going to update the current approval item. So again, we'll put in the name of our SharePoint site here and the name of our document library. And then we can pull from there the ID of the current item that we're working on. And what we'll do is we'll just update the current status value to pending review. That'll indicate that we've started the approval process. Now we need to operate on the response from the approval. And so what we'll do is we'll update the item when it's been approved. Grab our SharePoint name there. Type in approval documents for our list name. Grab the ID of the current item from the dynamic content. And then what we'll do is we'll grab the approval comments from the approval application in Flow, and we'll set the current status to approved. Similarly, if it's disapproved, we'll do the reverse. Let's grab the current item, bring in our document library. The document library's name is approval documents. Grab the ID of the current item we're working on, set the comments from the approval engine, and then set the status to disapprove. Now that it's saved, we can initiate our test. So I'll perform the trigger action. I'll do that by dropping a document on the document library. And then we'll see our flow. Hopefully we'll see some green checks. And now it's stopped at started approval. That's us waiting. That's it waiting for our approval. And we also see it's in pending review in SharePoint. So now to see the approval, we either need to go into the approval application in Flow or go into our email. It's got a nice email interface. And so we can see here from right within the email, I can have a link into the document. I can approve or reject it and put in comments. So we'll approve this one. I'll put in some positive comments there, hit submit. And now we should see that our flow moves forward. And went the if yes route, update that item. And if we refresh this, we should see our comments and that it's approved. The Flow Approvals app also has a web interface so that you can go to a web page and see all your approvals as well. So if we go to the Flow homepage, you see approvals at the top, and they also show on the homepage. And I can see some other ones that are queued up there waiting for me to accept or reject them. So it gives you a nice option is either via web page or via email. So I'm going to drop a few more in here. We can see that they're all pending review. I can see the emails have all come in on these. Let me reject one. We'll test that reject path. No way. If I come back into my document library, I should see now my rejection and my comments. And similarly, if I come into the website here, I can see the other documents that I dropped in, all waiting for me to either approve them or to reject them in the app. I can put in some comments right here. So that's enough decision making for one day. Let's go back to our SharePoint site. We see that we can everything's recorded there. So that's a quick overview of Flow Approvals, one of Microsoft's first-party apps for the Power Platform. And this is just a simple example of connecting it up to SharePoint, although you could connect it up to other data sources as well.